I need you to know the difference, I don't wanna play fair. You a product of the room, made of gold and I'm a child of the moon. I fall into it too.
But where are you from?
I'm from the south side of the city. I'm from around like 72nd in the Park Manor neighborhood, like Greater Grand Crossing Park Manor. You know, south, like literally just that area. I grew up all around there. I started like hanging out with my friends like the low end and shit. So I'm really just all around like Chicago.
Who were some of your musical influences growing up?
My main like musical influence was like Andre 3000 and like the way he was able to like freely just express himself and like phone him like gave me like helped me boost my confidence and like not being like afraid to just like express myself the way I wanted to do that shit. So I say like 3 Stacks, and then I want to say Wayne, but folks say it's Tweaking. So but like I can't deny like the influence folks had on me, but like musically for sure.
So at what point did you start making music?
So I started making music in like with my homie Chris one day, because we was just like in the crib bored one day, and we started like freestyling, recording the freestyles and posting them and shit. And then like from there, it kind of like, I didn't take like the rapping shit for real, but I was a poet before I started making music. I would participate like a lot in the bomb poetry competitions. So like one day someone had like told me like, why don't you just like start making music for real? And I was like, you right. So I just started rapping for real. And like I'd say like that was 2016. And then I started like putting out projects. I put out an EP 2017. I put out a full project at the end of 2018. And I just been going from there.
At what point did you realize that your music was like gaining traction?
I'm like for real when like people started like hitting me up to like perform and shit. So I said like 20, like that was like, I had the song called 13 that was buzzing a little bit when I did a video for it. So like 2019, like middle 2019, people started like reaching out to me like on some like, yo, you doing your shit, woo this, woo that, like keep going. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, I thought it was cool, and I just started like getting recognized and shit, and for like the music and shit, and that was what kind of like made me fall in love with the shit. It's like people like know me and saying like the music impacted them, and I'm like, I want to do this shit. It makes me like have that way, like that influence is like really cool.
So earlier this year you dropped the project Golden Child. What was the creation process of that like, and how did you come up with the title?
So I gave myself a space of time to create a certain amount of songs to fit like a landscape of like the sonic landscape of what I was trying to like convey with that idea. I just kind of wanted to like that project to be as like eclectic and like all encompassing as like I feel like my life has been. So I just started like making songs that reflected different like states of mind I was in throughout like a span of like a couple months and shit, so I really reflect like on like my life up until this point, what's going on in my head, like how I'm really feeling about shit. It was like 6 months, and then I had a bunch of songs, and I just started like listening to the songs that like, you know, resonated with me the most and shit like that. Had like, you know, 30 songs left over that I didn't do shit with because like I didn't really fuck with them as much. And then like the ones that I really like thought was project worthy, I just like kept them and I put them in an order that like I felt like, you know, was gonna flow the best. And then it was like that. And then when I had a project, and then the title Golden Child just came to me because like in my family, it was always like pressure on me, like a little bit of pressure on me to like to do something. You feel me? Because like, you know, I don't like my family like don't like, we was never like dirt broken or shit like that. But like nobody was ever really anything. You feel me? Like it was like normal civilian people. You shit. So it was like they put that pressure on me like you finna do something. So that's kind of like where like that title like came to for me. You feel me?
So like when you hear a song like Moonchild, right, and then you hear a song like S-Class, like 2 completely different types of sounds. Can you speak on your versatility in your music?
You know, sometimes I'm just 2 different niggas. You feel me? Like, like I feel like, you know, like you can get into different moods. You a different person, different, you know, in different like spit like different feelings, feel different ways. So I feel like the versatility just comes from like the different ways I feel. Like if I feel one way, I want to encapsulate and like get that feeling across. And like some days I feel like Moonchild, some days I feel like S-Class. Some days it's a Moonchild day, some days it's a Kill Bill day. You feel me?
So what's your favorite song that you've created so far?
It's probably some unreleased shit, but my favorite song that's out right now is probably Moczalla, because like I wanted to make that. It was like the first time where like the music shit really kind of came full circle for me, because it was like I always wanted to make a song like that felt how that song feels. You feel me? And then like when I showed Luke the sample, he just like knew what the fuck to do. And then like I was just like, damn, this is crazy. I've been thinking about making this shit for years, and I'm hearing this shit. I'm like, damn, it was that simple. And like we just made that shit, and like that shit resonates with me on a whole different level, cause like, you know, like it's like family ties to that song. Like my auntie worked on that project, like that the original sample that comes from and shit. And then yeah, and then like that was I remember my dad showing me that record with that song on, and I was like, I'm gonna do something with this shit. This shit hard as hell. So like, I think Moczalla for sure.
What was the reaction? Did your aunt hear that?
She loved it.
Yeah.
She was like really off the like, damn, like someone like really took notice of this song and like wanted, like it made them feel some sort, like that was how she was feeling. I was like, that's my auntie. She was like, damn, my nephew really like wanted to do this to my song. And that made me feel good, because I was like, damn, like it brought like a light to her day, you feel me, to show her that shit. That shit was like really gratifying to me.
I feel that. So you have a couple songs with Serena Isioma. Can you talk about how you guys mesh together so well musically?
That's just a homie. Like, she's good energy. Like, if you around somebody in the studio with good energy, you giving off good energy, it's gonna manifest into some good music. That's really all it is. I think, like, you know, she likes to make like fusion shit. Fuck genres and shit. Like, ideally, that's the type of shit I like to be on too. But like, I'm a rapper. But like, I still like to venture off and like do shit that like push the boundaries outside of what motherfuckers expect from me. And she like, you know, working with somebody like an artist like that, I'm gonna have to do that shit.
How'd you guys meet?
I met Serena for the first time through Mac, my homie, my coffee, from a show he put together. And then I saw her perform, and I'm like, damn, she's cool. This was like, what was that shit for? That was like 2018. And like, I seen her perform, and I'm like, oh, she's really raw. And then we just tapped in, like, started like, you know, showing love, like being around and shit, hanging out, and she was the homie.
So what are you working on currently? Is there like an upcoming project in the works?
Right now I'm working on a bunch of like, you know, I'm working on like a bunch of visual shit. Really, I got like a bunch of videos in the tuck, and then like it definitely is another project in the works. I can't really like say a lot about it, but like, for sure.
Who are some Chicago artists that you want to work with in the future?
Who I want to work with in the future? I really do want to work with like Saba and Mick Jenkins, and then really I like to keep. I've outside, like, you know, I've been like keeping shit within like the family, within like, you know, the scheme of like this collective I represent called HL. So like, it's this whole bunch of people in like that conglomerate who like I've been like just been locked in with making music with right now. But like, it's probably a bunch of motherfuckers who I would like want to make music with on like the underground shit. Like Brittany Carter, for example. I think she raw as hell. But like, you know, that's about it off the top.
Can you talk more about that collective you said?
I represent that collective of like people I call my brothers. We go by HL, Central High Life. It's me, Nombre Kari, Drew is a boss, McCoffee, fucking Jero, JT, Easy, like a bunch of like artists. I'm not Kalo. Like it's so many of Nate. It's a lot of us. Where sometimes I be like trying to like list motherfuckers off, and I be like, I'll leave somebody out. It's a lot of motherfuckers. It's like motherfuckers I call my brothers. We all call each other like brothers and shit. We make music together. We kick shit together. We go through the highs and lows together and shit. It's just motherfuckers who like been sticking around.
So you've been making music for a few years now. I always like to ask this question to Chicago artists. So like, what do you think is missing in Chicago's music community?
Really, I think Chicago's music scene has like a lot to offer, for sure. Like, I think there's a lot of talent here. I think there's a lot of like, you know, there's a lot to offer. But I think what happens is like, you know, it's like an ego clash. I think people allow their egos to clash a lot. I think people allow like, you know, either they get too interconnected into shit and like think shit is, you know, outside of what it is, or they make shit weird, or people are just weird because people are weird. Because, you know, there's business and then there's like, you know, a relationship with somebody, you feel me? And a lot of times you want to like make relationships with people you do business with to make the business easier. But like a lot of people like to try to like creep their way into shit and like be like slimy and weird and grimy and shit. And it's like, ain't no, like, if you motherfuckers don't really want to see each other win, that's the main problem. Motherfuckers want to have the spotlight to themselves and don't really want to like, you know, shine no light on nobody else. It's like a crabs in a bucket ass mentality for sure. And I'm like, and I'm sure like everybody be saying that shit because that's really the reality of it. A lot of motherfuckers just don't want to see other motherfuckers in that spotlight because they gonna feel they feel threatened when the spotlight not on them. I feel like that's the main issue facing motherfuckers right now. Like motherfuckers just can't really like make distinctions between like, you know, when to like take that step back and like, you know, show love versus like let me do some grimy shit. Let me take this nigga's young nigga's shit because he do like motherfuckers be thinking like because he's doing it and he like and I think I'm better than him, I can do this shit too. I think that's a really weird way to look at shit. You feel me?
This is a random question. What's the first concert that you ever attended?
The first concert, I got to think. The first concert I ever went to, like for an artist I really wanted to see, was if I can remember right, I was young as fuck, and I went to a Wayne concert. I went to the Wayne versus Drake concert. I don't think I went to any concerts before any artists I went to see before that, but I went to a Wayne versus Drake concert, and I was just like, I didn't think like I thought I was far as fuck in the back, so I'm looking at the stage. Yeah, I'm looking at the stage and shit. I'm like, damn, like I'm still like in the vicinity of these people. You feel me? That shit was crazy as hell. That shit like kind of like that was the first time I had ever seen like what a performance from like a rap star like really looked like, or what it could look like. You feel me?
Another random question. What was your favorite cartoon growing up?
My favorite cartoon was Johnny Test, cause like it's weird, like Johnny Test and Samurai Jack for completely different reasons. Johnny Test cause I always fucked with like how they had folks just kind of like doing whatever the fuck he wanted, and like it was like I don't know, it was something about that show just like I would always just be watching that shit in the morning eating cereal and shit. And then like Samurai Jack cause like I like the animation. That was the first like cartoon before I like started watching anime that got me into like actually like damn, this actually like is animated cool as fuck. And like the villains and shit, all that shit was raw as fuck. And then Samurai Champloo raw as hell, but I don't know, I would classify that as like a cartoon. But like Samurai Champloo, Samurai Jack, Johnny Test, fucking Invader Zim. Invader Zim was raw too.
See yourself in 5 years.
5 years from now, I would like to see myself, you know, maybe as like, you know, being looked at as like almost one of the greatest, you know, realistically. I feel like I'm gonna be like almost one of, you know that stage where you like almost there. I feel like I'm gonna be like right there 5 years from now. And like I see myself as like, you know, living my life. I don't really like care about like, you know, the glitz and glamour of like all none of that shit. I'm probably gonna be waking up in the morning, drinking coffee, making music, rapping. That type beat.